Benício was feeling sick. He said his heart was burning. At that moment, he had already received an adrenaline injection into a vein. Dr. Juliana Brazil, who wrote the wrong prescription, was watching the child's agony inside the hospital.
Man, imagine that. A child who received the wrong medication, screaming that his heart is burning. And notice that the doctor is on the phone the whole time. Look closely at the footage.
When she got a message, Lindona gave her her PICS details and she sent it immediately. It was the conclusion of a sale. The police found this conversation on Juliana's cell phone, which was seized after the boy's death in November of last year.
At no time did we...
What could the doctor be selling, huh? And during the emergency care, she was making sales.
We noticed there's a feeling of regret or lamentation from Juliana Brazil regarding the minister.
At the time, Fantastico showed exclusive footage of the emergency care. The parents took Benício to Hospital Particular Santa Julia in Manaus. The boy, 6 years old, had a dry cough. It didn't seem serious. And Dr. Juliana Brazil made a mistake. She prescribed an intravenous adrenaline injection when it should have been inhaled adrenaline.
You know what hurts the most? The boy is walking. It was just a cough, man. Look how incompetent the doctor is. Look how incompetent the nursing staff is. Everyone is irresponsible because, man, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. A child is walking. And look at the kind of medication you're giving a patient. Emergency medication given to a patient in this condition. Tough, huh?
The doctor gave Benicio's mother the prescription without reviewing it. The prescription with the high alert warning reached the nursing technician, Raiza Bentes. The boy's mother found it strange and said that her son had never received adrenaline intravenously. Even so, Raiza administered the injection.
Guys, God speaks to you. I don't know if you believe in God, but I've never done something like, man, isn't there something different going on here? So pay close attention, man. There are things you need to know. If you don't know, ask. What you can't do is just say, since it's prescribed, I'll do it. You're actually putting people's lives at risk. Be careful. This case came to light. How many cases don't come to light? So there are many nursing professionals, sorry for what I'm about to say. They work, but end up being killers. Like this, you're killing people because you lack basic emergency knowledge. Be careful, okay? Look, the one up above is watching you work. Be very careful.
With this, he started to feel unwell.
He noticed that I was crying. He said, "Dad, calm down, everything will be all right." He was very strong. He was very strong. He wanted to live.
The boy died about 14 hours later in the ICU of the same hospital. Now, the civil police concluded their investigation this week. Benício was the victim of gross medical error and died because of an adrenaline overdose.
Did you understand? If you don't know how to administer adrenaline, there must be at least 10 videos about adrenaline just on this channel. If you haven't watched them, then when you have doubts and do it wrong, the one above is watching. You don't need money to buy a course. Here on YouTube, it's free. I'm not the only one making free content here. There are several health and nursing channels with content. Man, adrenaline overdose. Where have you seen this much adrenaline given in boluses or doses? No, not in a living patient. There's no excuse for lacking knowledge. You can buy a course or watch one for free. Now, what you can't do is think you're innocent, because look, you're definitely going to lose your nursing license.
Experts confirmed that the situation was as seen and that there were no errors in intubation or in any actions taken by the emergency team.
Remember back then when I made a video about this too? People are saying there was an intubation error and that the boy might have died because of it. Look, experts found that it was an adrenaline overdose. Man, the adrenaline rush was huge. Not even an adult patient can handle that much adrenaline. For children, the dose is divided by weight. A child can't receive a whole vial during a cardiac arrest. She received it while alive. How many vials?
I couldn't get him out of that hospital alive. It's something that crosses our minds every day.
The police investigation also states that Juliana Brazil tried in every possible way to distance herself from the mistake she had made.
Look, to me, that's the kind of person who wears a lab coat, has a medical license, but is worth nothing. Because if you're cold-hearted enough in a situation like this, I'm sorry, you're no good. That's my opinion.
The doctor even presented this video to the court, claiming that the hospital system had switched, without her noticing, inhaled adrenaline for intravenous adrenaline. But on Juliana's phone, did you see that?
In other words, she made a fake video and sent it to the court. Look at the level trying to deceive the justice system. Is someone like that really a human being? How far will you go to make a mistake and then try to get away with it? You don't even have the courage to own up to your mistakes, man. It's absurd.
Investigators found this message. I offered her money to film, LOL. She said she'll try.
After an inspection was carried out on the system, it was found that there was nothing wrong with the system. In other words, it's very clear that she made the video to try to avoid responsibility.
The police also highlight the doctor's attitude during the conversation we showed at the beginning of the report about a sale.
It's very strong evidence that she was completely indifferent to what would happen to Benício.
The exchange of messages happened about an hour and a half after Benício received the adrenaline. He was here in the hospital's critical care room for patients who need more attention. 2 doctors and a nurse were taking care of him. Dr. Juliana Brazil was with Benício in the hospital's critical care room. He was breathing with great difficulty. According to the police, the doctor spent most of the time on her cell phone. And while young Benício was receiving care, Juliana Brazil even sold cosmetics, beauty products.
A doctor selling beauty products, nothing against it, but in an ER resuscitation room? Huh? Did you get that? You in nursing keep trusting just because someone has a medical license? The guy is on the phone doing other things. That's why I say, man, when you're working, you have to be fully focused on what you need to do. If you want to do anything on the side, do it outside your working hours. Man, inside an ER resuscitation room, it's even worse. You have to give your patient your full attention. That's why I say, look at the character of this kind of person, taking care of patients in emergency situations.
The messages show that the doctor had sold makeup to a client and agreed on the price. 200 Rs, but I left it at 190 for you. The client sent the bank receipt and called Juliana Brazil wonderful, powerful. The doctor replied with this sticker full of hearts.
It's as if she wasn't there with her patient, fighting for their life.
This is very outrageous. While my son needed medical help, she was on her phone selling cosmetics, ignoring everything that was happening to our son.
The police interviewed 39 people. Some testimonies helped to outline the profile of the nursing technician Raisa Bentes, who had been working in the profession for 7 months. She is described as arrogant, resistant to asking for guidance, and acted in an insubordinate manner.
See, nursing technician, pay close attention. Look, arrogant, resistant, refusing guidance, acting in an insubordinate manner. A technician who doesn't accept being subordinate has already started off wrong in the profession, because technicians are subordinate to nurses. And apparently she definitely wouldn't want to take orders. Look, guys, one day the bill comes due. Her bill came due. Look at the price she's paying for her actions. Is it worth being arrogant? It's not worth it. Everyone should focus on their own role. Maybe no one notices what you do today. Arrogance, overbearing attitude. This goes for nurses too. But one day the bill comes due. Look at the price she ended up paying. It cost someone their life. And not to mention, right, I won't even talk about the profession, because from my point of view, her career was already over.
Another nursing technician told the police that she spoke with Raisa before the adrenaline was administered. She said that she instructed her to do it by inhalation, even prepared the nebulization kit and asked if Raisa had understood.
And then I said, I understand.
Did you understand, guys? Another technician. He gave her some guidance. And shall we see what happened?
But Raisa goes and doesn't hear that and applies it intravenously.
Because did you understand? Man, I heard another nursing tech. I'm going to follow the medical prescription. That's it. Arrogance, lack of knowledge, still following a prescription that's wrong due to lack of knowledge. Didn't listen to the colleague. How far can arrogance go? To the point of taking a life. The outcome there could have been different. There shouldn't even be a video about Benício here on the channel today, nor should there have been national repercussions if Raíza had listened to another technician, the nursing technician who even prepared the kit. But out of arrogance, she said, I'll do it according to what's on the prescription. The doctor made a mistake, yes. The pharmacy made a mistake, yes. And the technician made a mistake, yes. But look, there was a barrier there. See, there was a barrier. The technician who spoke with her could have been the barrier to prevent this mistake from happening. But what happened? She did it, right?
She followed the prescription. She was warned. She had several chances to follow patient safety protocols, especially the cardiac protector. The police concluded the investigation. Raíza was indicted for intentional homicide with eventual intent, which is when someone takes
the risk of killing a person and shows indifference to the outcome. Juliana Brazil was indicted. In summary,
intentional homicide, right? With eventual risk, negligence, code of ethics, revocation. In other words,
I want
to know about it later.
Corin Amazonas, whether she really had her license revoked, because that is the proper penalty. It's there in our code of ethics. So, there's nothing else to do, okay? I'll try to find out about this outcome at Corin Amazonas. If I get any information, I'll make a video here for you, but guys, it's license revocation. There's no other option, because it was negligence. She knew it could happen and she didn't listen. So she can't say it was lack of skill. She knew. No, how could you not know if you wanted to do it even after your colleague's warning? You get it? Why was it concluded here?
So it was initiated for the same crime?
The doctor too. So, let's go. Medical board? Is the board going to revoke her medical license? And then? It's something that also has to happen, because here's the thing, I don't know the medical code of ethics. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I've never read the medical code of ethics. But look at the level of what happened here, right? Let's see the repercussions in medicine. Since the medical profession is always protective of its own doctors, in this case, now you'll see if medicine is really serious or not. If medicine doesn't revoke this doctor's medical license, it's for you to see how much doctors, in general, do what they do and know that justice, even if there is a court ruling, the medical board does whatever it wants its own way. Let's see what happens here. Intentional homicide based on conscious acceptance of the risk.
The doctor faces procedural fraud charges due to the video presented to the court and medical board, despite being a pediatrician without a related specialization. Juliana was not arrested and should remain free pending trial. In a statement to Fantástico, Juliana's defense reaffirmed that the hospital's prescription system had problems, that the video is real, and that there were failures in the intubation. Regarding the sale of makeup, the lawyers said that at that moment, Benício, we won't go there anymore.
Essa intubação. Quanto à venda de maquiagem, o advogado disse que naquele momento, Benício não era mais responsabilidade da médica.
She was no longer under the control of that child, and she carried out her shift as usual. And then she goes on with her life.
Did Dr. Juliana Brazil have any involvement in the death of the boy Vinicius? No.
Nursing technician Raíza would rather put the child at risk than take 31 steps to go to the office. And go to Dr. Juliana Brazil and say, Doctor, it's difficult here. Start an IV, 31 steps. It would have prevented what happened to the boy Vinicius in the ICU.
Raíza Bentes should remain free pending trial. Her defense said that all arguments, clarifications, and statements will be presented exclusively in the case files, and that Raíza is currently suspended from professional practice and has expressed no interest in returning to work as a nursing technician.
See, as much as she liked being a nursing technician, she is suspended because she was suspended before the case was judged. But since the case has already been judged, we understand that it calls for revocation of her license. But even if she's not interested in coming back, as much as she wanted to be a nursing technician, guys, nobody is forced to be a healthcare professional. If you don't want to, man, just leave. Why are you dissatisfied working in nursing? Why be in nursing at all?
The investigation also concluded that there were not enough nurses at the hospital that day, and that there was no pharmacist to check the adrenaline prescription.
See, there are multiple layers. The hospital is responsible for this, right? It'll pay for this mistake too. In other words, there weren't enough nurses, there was no pharmacist in the pharmacy because it's a high alert medication.
That's why the directors of Santa Julia, Antonio Guilherme Macedo and Edson Sarkis Jr., who were responsible for hiring, were indicted for involuntary manslaughter. When there is no intent to kill, but death is the result of negligence. What mattered was the hospital's profit, saving money so the hospital would generate more profit. The hospital's press office stated that the institution was not officially notified about the indictment of its directors, that it remains available to the authorities for clarification, and that it is committed to the quality of care, patient safety, and the responsible investigation of the facts. Benicio's parents were satisfied with the police's conclusions. The doctor and the nursing technician may face a jury trial.
Those responsible need to be punished for what happened so that other children and other families don't have to go through what we are going through.
Right? Benicio's parents made a point of not changing anything in their son's room. It's just the way the boy left it before going to the hospital.
Those 6 years I spent by his side were wonderful. They were great. Only memories and longing remain.
He is a true angel who was here on earth. If I could give everything I have, even my own life, I would give it all just to hug my son one more time.